This female writer was assaulted by a gang of thugs one after another. She dragged her battered body to the bridge. At that moment, the cops and thugs blocked her path again. They showed evil smiles. They were ready to assault her again. Then, suddenly, Hill jumped into the river. The cops planned to wait for her to surface and then take her out, but the woman never reappeared. To avoid exposure, the cops ordered some thugs to search along the riverbank, demanded they find Hill at all costs. If the truth came out, they'd face severe punishment. After searching, they found nothing. The furious cops saw Stanley still filming. They yelled at him, calling him an idiot. Those tapes were their evidence. So, they violently crushed the tapes. Then, following the cops' orders, they went to destroy all of Hill's belongings. The next day, the cops returned the cabin keys to the landlord. He said the girl left last night. He also said she was an alcoholic and drug addict. But that night, the landlord called. He said Hill was missing. His friends were searching everywhere. When Hill cried for help in the woods, the landlord was there. Though he didn't know what happened next. As the last person to see her, the landlord wanted the cops to call back. The cops agreed, but they already had murder on their minds for the landlord. The next day, they lured him to the forest under the pretense of hunting. He shot him when he was off guard. He thought it was over, but they had no idea. The killing that awaited those demons was about to begin. That day, the timid Matthew sat in the woods, repenting, thinking about how Hill was tortured. He felt deep regret. Suddenly, he looked up and saw Hill staring at him nearby. Scared stiff, Matthew looked down. When he looked up again, Hill was gone. Then there was Stanley. He found his camera stolen. It held proof of how they tortured Hill. Turns out, the tapes the cops crushed were empty. The two thugs were furious when they found out. But the most important thing now was to get the tapes back. What they didn't expect was the tapes were sent to the cops' house. When the cops saw the tapes, he rushed to the cabin to confront Stanley. He learned Johnny and the others had strange encounters. Johnny found Matthew's belongings near his home. They suspected the missing Matthew was behind it. The cops ordered 3 men to find Matthew and get the truth. What they didn't know was, Matthew was being tortured by Hill. When they went to the river to look for Matthew, they heard someone singing in the woods. They followed the sound, reached a rundown cabin. The singing stopped suddenly. Andy went inside to check. Stanley, outside, saw Hill in the woods. Stanley tried to catch her, but stepped on a trap. Hearing Stanley scream, Andy ran over. Hill hid behind him and knocked Andy down with a stick. Then she knocked Stanley out with another hit. When Andy woke up in a bathtub, his limbs tied up, what does Hill want to do?